years.
Charlie, get up here.
He's a relentless son of a bitch. Won't stop till he finishes the job. Death is coming for our family.
I said, oh, 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 oh.
Final Destination Bloodlines. We now have the 6th Final Destination film after, I think, like a long hiatus. So we now have another one. And damn. So I was a little skeptical going into this because when they said, hey, we're going to do another Final Destination movie, and it's like, yeah, well, you guys have been saying that for years, that you've been wanting to do another one, and yet you just never did. So I don't know about this. So I was kind of skeptical, and I've seen all of them. And I was going into it going like, okay, I like the idea. And then I watched it and went, wow, that was actually the best one in the series. Like, surprising. So the story of this one is a girl who's having trouble with a recurring nightmare where she sees this woman in like this like almost like a the Seattle like needle tower, like it huge like destruction and all that stuff. But she's having this recurring nightmare, so she's trying to dig up like, okay, who is this person? Finds out that this woman is actually her grandmother, and she actually had a premonition of everybody dying on the needle and got everybody out to safety. So she, unlike previous movies where it was, it was just a couple of friends that, that survive, this one, it's like an entire bloodlines they survived. So now death starts coming after everybody, but the girl finds out that, oh, our family was actually never supposed to exist. So now death is coming for the bloodlines. And I was like, that actually sounds pretty cool. I like that idea. How are you going to do this? So this honestly felt a lot like something like Saw X, where they said, okay, let's take a step back. Let's think about this again. Where with the previous 3 movies, I would say 3 movies in this series, we're like, yeah, we're like almost bad to just downright terrible. Mainly 4. So this one, they honestly felt like they went, okay, let's take it back. Let's think about this again. And I would say written wise, the writing, it's the best one, because, the first one has a kind of, it's like, all right, here's the setup, and then death ensues, and how can we do all these like Rube Goldberg style like death stuff, and that's kind of what it was. And then 2 through 5 just kind of repeated that, and it really wasn't anything new besides 5, the end of 5, where I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, but oh well. So this felt like they went, hey, let's take this and let's put a spin on it, and let's make it technically a prequel, so that, maybe the whole rest of the series, didn't, or the rest, so that way this movie sets up like the rest of the series happens, which it's not really implied that it is, but you could say it, and it works. Now, the main thing about a Final Destination movie is the deaths, and they are pretty cool and quite gory. So they didn't shy away from that. They definitely went back and said, okay, it's going to be there, it's going to be practical with a little mix of CG, but mostly practical. Unlike something like 4, where it just went complete CG and very little practical. And it was kind of like, yeah, no, this doesn't work. So they said, yeah, let's go back to being more practical, which is awesome. And there were times where I was actually laughing at some of the deaths because I was just like, oh, that's funny. So, the characters in this could be annoying. You could say they're a little annoying, but you understand the reasoning of why they're thinking it. Because they're just like, oh yeah, death is just after everybody, kind of thing. So where with previous movies, there was just characters that you just hated. So it was just like, oh God, this character again. And then they get off and you were just like, yay. But unfortunately, maybe the movie didn't improve after that. This one, it was like okay, I understand the way they're thinking. But then the second they start realizing, oh, this stuff is happening, it's then they jump on board. And it's like, okay, you're understanding what's going on. I understand why you're thinking this way. So very, very minor. They just be annoying at times. The one part in this that I was really, really, really looking forward to, and it did not disappoint at all, was Tony Todd. And oh man, you can tell like he was dying. He was dying. Like he just looks physically messed up. And it's like, oh my God, he just looks so frail in this. And it's like, oh, it was kind of like watching David Bowie's music video for Lazarus, where he was, he made that album while he was dying. And you can watch in that video, like, yeah, he just does not look good. And so this is kind of one of those, the same things. But one of the things they do in this, despite him being in it for a scene, is they give his character a backstory and a twist on his backstory. And I thought it was brilliant. Like, I did not see it coming. I was like, oh, that is brilliant. Because that was the thing, is I always wanted to kind of know more about him, because he was always kind of like the messenger of death. I mean, the fact that he was a mortician, I was kind of like, okay, he knows something. So what, instead of just being like, hey, I'm here for this, and telling a whole new group of people, like, yeah, you got to do this, you got to do this. It was, yeah, you got to do this. Also, there's this. This is my backstory. And I'm like, oh, that is brilliant. And it was like, I never would have thought of that. I never would have thought of it, even though it was kind of right there, like kind of in your face. I was like, I didn't even think about that. That is awesome. And, the last, parts of it was, of him was a very like beautiful send off. Like I said, they filmed it like they knew he was dying. Like, so they were just like, let's give him a nice send off, and I'm not going to lie, when he departs, I won't say like if he dies or not, you just have to see the movie. When he leaves, I actually had tears in my eyes. I was just like, oh, and they had a tribute at the end, like during the credits. And I was like, oh, and so yeah, it actually made me like choke up a little bit, made me teary eyed. So this surprised the hell out of me. It, like I said, it felt like they took a step back and said, okay, let's do the stuff that fans expect, but put a twist on it and have some more fun with it, and not just be the same thing, not just a stamp of like, okay, like same thing and just keep going. The writing in this was really well done, where with the others, you know, like in this, like little things aren't plot holes, and they gave so much meat to Tony Todd's character in the series, and I thought it was brilliant. They definitely took their time and made sure like little details make a big difference. And, you know, little things could be bothersome for some people, but that didn't really bug me a whole lot. And I personally, I give this one a great. This one was my favorite of the series. And, you know, I think if you are a fan of the Final Destination movies and you haven't seen this, watch this one, because if you were like me, where you watched the series and you went, it's the same thing, like rinse and repeat thing. Except it's just different ways to die and a different setup. That's all this is. And you want something new and, you know, fun, and kind of brings back the spark. This is it. This is the one. So I was very happy about this one. So yeah, I give it a great. And they've already greenlit the next one. They already greenlit 7, and one of the writers on this one is coming back. So yeah, I really enjoy this, and I'll just say this: if I ever see a kid throw a penny off of a high building, I'm just going to leave. I won't say how, I'm just gonna leave.
This book, it will show you everything you need to know to keep our family safe.
It all started with Grandma. Death is coming for us because we were never supposed to exist.
Watch out!
Only by embracing death will it pass you by.
Maybe Death's not actually coming for our family. Because that would be crazy.
Good luck.